Hey, what's up, everybody? Johan Yo here, and welcome to the Foolish Youths Podcast. So, last time we talked about Marvel Infinity War, gave our criticisms on that, and today we're going to talk about Rampage. I don't think a lot of people have seen this movie, and if you have, I'm sorry. If you haven't, you're lucky. Do not go see it. I'm sorry. I mean, if you like a really stupid action movie, this is perfect. This is a great movie for you. But if you care about plot points making sense, characters being at least somewhat believable, anything being just a slight bit realistic. Like, I know you don't go to see Rampage because it's a realistic movie, but nothing made sense, alright? First off, this movie was ridiculous. The monkeys are like, oh, we can talk sign language, oh, we're making jokes, F you, finger up. What the heck? What is this? Like, I know, these gorillas and chimpanzees or whatever, they're learning sign language, but I don't think we've developed them to a state where they can straight up make fun of us, flip us off, all that, and understand that and start laughing. I thought that was kind of ridiculous. So that's the first thing. First thing is the nothing in this movie really made sense, because from the get-go, they're in space, and this woman is the last one alive in the space station, which, by the way, this crazy fucking rat is up there killing everyone. And yet somehow, through all this craziness, all the damage that's happened to the ship, not one hole has been punctured to where air would escape and it would just blow up. Because I'm pretty sure that's what would happen if there was like a puncture in the wall or something. Just the whole space station would go to shit. So the fact that nothing has actually happened externally to the ship from that very beginning is ridiculous. So there's that. And this woman's trying to escape, and the rich entrepreneurs are like, no, you need to bring back this the specimen serum so that we can study it. What? I mean, if she comes back, she's definitely gonna tell someone, one. And two, why do you still want this? This is... You can't control it up in space with a tiny little rat. What makes you think you can control it later on and actually, like, sell it and stuff like that? All you're gonna bring is the apocalypse. I get that you're rich and evil. That's what the movie's trying to portray. But rich, evil entrepreneurs still want the world to exist, you know? For example, if you gave a weapon that could end the entire world for billions of dollars, who cares if you have the billions of dollars? The world's over now if they use that, you know? So anyways, and then falls down and hits a wolf, a crocodile, and the white back gorilla. What was his fucking name? Hold on. Oh my gosh, I forget what this fucking monkey's name. Oh, George, there it is. George. The fucking monkey George has to be the protector, sees the fucking meteorite hit the ground, gets sprayed by it, and just starts becoming huge. Which is interesting. I mean, at that point I was still like, you know what? The space station was stupid, but I could still watch this, alright? And then these things are just growing out of control. And the rich people know it, and they're like, you know what? Let's bring them to Chicago. The army can take care of them, and then we'll just grab the DNA and then sell that or whatever. Which I thought, one, why the fuck would you bring it to Chicago? Are you kidding me? let's bring it to a heavily populated area, of which would be quite the pain. And two, if they don't kill these animals, then your whole little corporation has gone down the shitter, because they had a beacon that would bring these animals to them, and they put the beacon right on the top of their own tower, so that if the army doesn't stop them fast enough, these things are just going to climb up the tower and completely destroy the whole building. So this was a suicide plan. It solely depended on the military being able to kill these things fast enough when they know that these monsters are insane. So, straight up, plot was ridiculous. It didn't make any sense. And another big problem I have with it is that the actual story of Rampage, because those of you who didn't know, I believe this comes from the video game Rampage. That was I played it back on the GameCube. And the whole story for that was that there was a soda that people would drink, and it would turn them into beasts. And what you would do is you'd play these monsters, destroy as much city, eat as many people, kill as many of the military as you could. And that's a ridiculous story, but at least it was fun, and you knew it was ridiculous, you know? They tried to make this, like, really intense, like, oh, we need to save the world from these super monkeys and super alligators, super wolf. But I think everyone would have just preferred the whole soda thing, because it's so ridiculous that people realize, hey, they're not trying to be realistic, you know? It's just fun. It's an idea. It's just a fun story that you can make, you know? That didn't really make sense, but it's okay. So I kind of wish they just stuck with the original story and went on from there and just did a fun story from there. A little goofy, lots of action, because I think these movies try and take themselves too seriously in areas that shouldn't be serious. Like, this movie should not have been serious at all. It is ridiculous in every single way. Nothing makes sense. There are so many plot holes, so many things that keep the story going that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. For example, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who is a some sort of zoologist who protects the gorillas and studies them, and that's really all they give you, is that he works at the gorilla habitat, and I guess studies them. I don't know. He's just friends, and he just hangs out with George. It doesn't really look like he does much, but anyways, so he's doing that, and since he is a zoologist, the government needs him, because he's the only person who can stop this gorilla. And first off, that's ridiculous. Yeah, he understands how gorillas work, but this thing is like a humongous, like way bigger than anything ever seen. So I don't know what his monkey skills can do, what his sign language can do to help that. So I don't see the reasoning behind him being the savior of humanity. And then there's the guy from Walking Dead who has Lucille. Oh, I forget his name, and people are gonna be mad. But anyways, that guy, he's some sort of secret government agent who's got a lot of power, but then he doesn't have a lot of power when talking to the military, because the military doesn't listen to him, which is such an annoying cliche, because it doesn't make any sense. These people have encountered this thing. They're like, no, we got this. We're the military. We're the USA. And they keep using that exact same plot point. So it's kind of getting boring. And the first time it doesn't work. That's the really annoying part. Is they're like, we got this wolf. We have a USA plan tactic to bomb this motherfucker to the sky. I don't know. But anyway, so it fails, and you think, okay, now they'll listen. But the government's like, nah, we'll just try harder. And when things are going south in Chicago, I believe, they're like, let's just fucking nuke them. Let's just nuke these animals. I'm sorry, do you know what a nuke is? Do you know what these missiles will do? It won't just blow up these animals. You just nuked your own country. What is going on here? How does that make any sense? You know what? These animals are a problem, so let's just blow up half of America. Most people will die to the radiation poisoning after, who are far, far away, but at least we nuke these animals. Really? That's the best plan the US could come up with? So that's another big problem. And before this all happens, they, for some odd reason, arrest Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and they have him under custody. I mean, he's a survivor of an attack, so I don't see why they have him under arrest or under protection or whatever. I don't know. But he's like, we gotta get a helicopter. And somehow in the US military base, there is a helicopter unattended to. They had some really lame excuse like, oh, it's part of the medical thing and there's too many people. But really, there's no anti-air defense. There's not a camera looking at it. This guy was able to start up the helicopter and helicopter away without anyone noticing. And then later on they bring it up. They're like, oh, are you the one who let that helicopter go? It's like, you knew about this? And you're like, whatever. I got more stuff to deal with. I don't think that's how the military works. I think they'd be pretty fucking pissed about a helicopter being stolen under their noses. But they let that one go. And I don't think they understand helicopters either. Because later on in the movie, there's a helicopter on top of the rich people's tower that's tail has been broken off. It shouldn't fly. And the building's collapsing, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who just got shot, dropped like he's dead. He's just like, oh, and just done. I was like, holy shit, did they actually kill Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? But in my head, I'm like, nah, he's gonna come back and be like, whatever. And he comes back, he's like, oh, they missed every vital organ. And it's like, wow, that was lucky. But anyways, he's like, get in the chopper. Even though we don't have a tail, I'm gonna make this thing fly somewhat. Enough for us to glide down. And the fucking building is coming down. It's crashing. And you see this like half a helicopter just flying in the air like, woo! And it doesn't make any sense. There's nothing that would actually keep it like afloat without the tail, you know? So this thing is just hovering above. And they survive, and it's hilarious to watch. Honestly, it's more of a movie to laugh at than to watch seriously because it's just so ridiculous, and the jokes are so on the nose. They're so like, oh, I'm a vegan. Like, there's this one guy who's like, oh, I only eat soy butter or something like that. It was like, oh yeah, no, and. Another big plot hole is the military is using jets, tanks, bazookas, machine guns, everything they can think of, like shooting at these beasts, everything they could think of at the alligator. Nothing is even scratching these guys. Nothing at all. They're just punching them away, breaking them away, and the US military is like, oh my gosh, we can't do anything. But Dwayne, the motherfucking Rock Johnson, grabs a grenade launcher and just starts shooting at the alligator. Next thing you know, these grenades are freaking doing major damage. Boom, boom, boom. And what? So a tank and a fighter jet can do no damage. Like, literally nothing. They did nothing to these animals. But when Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson grabs a grenade launcher, that's when shit gets done. That's when the alligator's like, oh, and like it's like he reacts to it because he got in that special spot. Really, no military guy thought of that. No military personnel thought, hey, there's an opening, let's shoot there. And not one bullet hit there. They had this thing like all three creatures completely surrounded, shooting, and not one hit that area. Come on. It was only Dwayne The Rock Johnson who thought of this. That's like video games 101. Any guy who's played any video game whatsoever would have been like, probably a weakness on this guy. Check for like a hole where he breathes or something. But no one figures it out. The best part though, the icing on the cake to this glorious movie has got to be when George almost dies. It is hilarious. He gets impaled, what looks to be in the heart, with a pike. He's like, ugh! He gets impaled. He's like, and he pulls it out and kills the alligator. Oh, spoiler alert. But again, we talked about this before. If you don't want to be spoiled, don't fucking watch a review on the movie. That doesn't make sense. I mean, I get it that some people want to know if the movie's good or not. But if you're watching a review, then what's the point of watching the movie after? Because you know everything that's going to happen. Anyways, spoiler alert. He gets impaled. He's like, ugh! And then he pulls it out, kills him, and then dies. Wakes up, flips off Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and they all laugh. What? He got impaled in the heart, and he's like, you know what? This is the time to fake dead and make a joke. Because this monkey is freaking more clever, tougher than every person I think I've ever seen. Anyone who's been impaled in the chest does not think, now is the time to make a joke. Let's do this. They are not expecting this at all. This is going to be the best joke ever. So I guess I'm criticizing the monkey, but in another way, I'm complimenting George. Holy crap. That's commitment to the joke. You just got impaled what looks to be in the heart. And you were bleeding out. And you're like, you know what? Let's fake death. Let's do it. So, you know what? Hats off to him. But I'm going to end the podcast here. I'm going to give this movie a solid 2 out of 10 on actual, like, good movie review. But on funny and just ridiculous, I'll give it a straight up 7 out of 10. Like, this was a ridiculous, hilarious movie. If you watch it ironically, you're going to have a blast because it is too funny. It's too funny. Nothing makes sense at all. But I'm going to end it there. Comment down below. Tell me if I'm right. Tell me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, tell me why. And I'll see you on the next podcast. Bye for now.